been a hot minute since we've done one of these. Jagex has released a new beta into leading up to their whole Evolution of Combat 2 thing, and wanted to pop on stream, wanted to kind of see what the beta was about. I already tried the first one. I think Magic is in a really good place. I think the way that they're reworking Greater Sonic Wave was honestly pretty good. So obviously this is a kind of like a sandbox environment that they do. And then I have the thing. I actually have the thing pulled up, and then the link obviously in their forum post in order to this. However, this is definitely a test world, a sandbox world, if you will. But I've been testing out the new Amiscut set. It was very expensive. I GE warriored that so hard. Loving it. It's making me a believer in power armor. That being said, we have a little bit of reading to do, and kind of, I guess, theory crafting as well, that I wanted to get through first. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to dissect how this is working. We're going to dissect, what we're thinking. Melee's kind of the hardest style to make work because of what it does, and we'll get into some of that later. I'll kind of explain some of my thought process. I also am aware this is a early game to mid game kind of thing, so we're not testing out for efficiency in end game, right? I think Magic and Ranged and even Necromancy are doing very well in that department right there, and Melee's kind of struggling a little bit behind. So a little bit of a preamble, kind of what to expect, right? I'm not a high tier player by any means. I will say that I've done some Vorkath and stuff. I've done Zuck a few times, but I don't know. It's one of those things that's it's hard to describe if you haven't played for a hot minute or haven't played at a higher level. How just absolutely foobarred Melee gets sometimes. So we have the official Combat Styles Improvement 2 beta update. We're going to try to go through this as quick as we can. Today, as we're just streaming this, today we're launching an updated beta build to address player feedback and showcase upcoming combat modernization changes, helping us continue to refine and polish the update. This beta branch will be available from today until Monday, February 18th, and we're investigating the viability of one additional update next week if possible. Let's dive in. So I actually really like that they're going super ham on this. I'm actually super into it, and it seems like they're taking a lot of feedback. It's clear from your feedback that Melee's initial, I guess style identity is the section, right? Clear from your initial feedback that Melee's initial beta iteration missed the mark a little, with less cohesion and simplicity than the other styles, while also feeling weaker and missing some of the effects that you felt was important. We've realigned Melee to introduce a new status, Bloodlust, which plays into various abilities and gives it some much-needed structure. So, I will say, I think this is I'm going to do a quick interrupt on this. I also need to make sure I don't AFK timeout, right? I will say... just dropping them. Because we have vendors that effectively you just get stuff from. So, Melee has a big reliance on Berserk. I guess I should probably move myself to the other side of the screen, so you can kind of see. So, yes, they're removing a lot of abilities and stuff. However, I do think that Melee, unfortunately, is super over-reliant on... it's super over-reliant on its ultimate. It very much is. Where's my skills? Calendar. Okay, so if we go to Melee, and then they simplified this as well. They've simplified the bar a little bit, which I'm actually super grateful for, which is awesome. We definitely needed a little bit of a simpler bar. So if we go to my Melee build, right? If we go there, that way all my skills can highlight effectively. F4. Sorry, I'm not used to keybinds. So they simplified, last one, they kind of simplified, because we had 3 or 4 tabs, right? We had attack, we had strength, which attack and strength are 2 skills. Defense is more along the lines of armor. We have some constitution skills. We also have some defensive skills, which I don't know where they're rolling that into personally right now. I don't know. We do have a basic attack now, 70 to 83%. I'm a little concerned with this because if we go to Necromancy, Necromancy just has a higher base potency from what I understood. If I can find it. No, yeah, well, no, it's 60 to 73. Okay, so it's still pretty potent. I don't know why it feels a lot more potent. So if we go back to Melee, okay, that's actually a lot more potent. I like that. I like this. I think it's a good change. Hi, Ballroom. Thanks for the streak. So there's going to be a lot of technical work going into this as an explanation. So I apologize if it's not the most engaging, but this is very much we're working through this as a thought process. So it's going to take me a minute to actually go through and actually get some of the stuff figured out. I will say that's actually really interesting that the potency is unlocked a little bit. Ranged is 60 to 73. Okay, I'm into that. Magic is... If I can find you. 60 to 73. Okay, that's fine. And then, yeah, if we go back to Necromancy, 60 to 73. So, I'm actually a huge fan of that. We also don't have, like, a defensive passive. But, I mean, defense and con are kind of weird. They'll probably rework these a little bit later. No one I know actually uses Ice Asylum. I use my Ice Asylum as a cooldown counter. As you can see right now, right there, middle screen, 5 minutes. I use that as a cooldown for my Augmented Excalibur, if I'm being honest, since they share the same cooldown. I know people did use Onslaught. I don't actually hear anybody using Onslaught anymore. Reprisal, I think people use that. But we're not really talking about defense and con today because those aren't the focus of the update. So I'm actually a huge fan of this. I actually really like that we have an increase in basic attack potency. That actually makes me really happy because I was not expecting that. And I think that it helps address some of the concerns. Like melee has... It scales off of 2 stats, or it uses 2 stats. It uses the attack stat, but it also uses the strength stat. And in the prior beta, they were talking about how strength is now kind of just like where your crit chance comes from. And for certain weapons, like your maul, like Granite Maul, like your Exekill, right? The funny the sword. Well, I can't wear it because my inventory's full right now. But the sword he's got right there, the big butter knife, the big flaming butter knife. That's what that's for. So I'm actually super. I don't know. I think that taking it out of the equation is an interesting way to solve that personally. I will also say for melee as well, for those who don't know, Sword and Board is kind of dead for all intents and purposes. Like you'll never see a Sword and Board style. If anything, you actually use your shield as a swap, but even then we have Necromancy now, so you can just use Necromancy runes to use it. So shields are kind of dated, so Sword and Board is not exactly viable. So that's relevant information. So Bloodlust is a new status. Introduced firstly through Pressing Blow, a new melee ability currently using the smash icon. This is a placeholder. Placeholder is fine. It's a beta. Gaining maximum stacks allow you to empower a number of your melee abilities. So I guess it's working like Chaos Roar, I think, where it empowers the next one. As well as this, introducing additional methods of gaining Bloodlust stacks, casting Berserk and using Punish while the target's below 50% life points will generate a maximum number of stacks so you can continue benefiting throughout your rotation. I do think that melee, unfortunately, relies way too much on Berserk. Now's a good time to bring it up. So any of the other styles, right? So if I were to... That's a lot of kegs of beer. If I were to play Magic, right? Let's just go through this. Let's go through the motions, right? I'm going to pull up my Magic kit. Do we have Ifsoa on? No, we do not. But that's fine. We can utilize it this way. That's fine. So if I go into, we'll go into Flesh Hatcher. We're kind of reading the document and we're going through. I know I wanted to like showcase some of my points before I really dive too deep into it. So this is baby mode training boss, right? That's all he is, right? Effectively. So when we go into this, and this is part of my issue with Magic. Sorry, with melee. Where's my magic bar? Magic. So I can use Sunlight, but Sunlight does 1.5 times damage, but it's not often required. So I can do something like that. I can do Wild Magic, which does a lot of damage. I'm using Amaskut set, so my channel's going to do a crap ton of damage, right? And for all intents and purposes, like I'm doing a lot of damage. I'm surprised why I'm not. I'm surprised I'm not taking more damage. Rack and Ruin, you know, like I'm doing a lot. Battle Staff of Armadillo as well. Like, I mean, it's a pretty quick clear. We're in beta, so it's not really gonna do anything. I don't really care. So that was pretty quick, right? That was about. Oh, I'm trying to see what the actual number was on that. It was about 43 seconds. Still pretty slow, all things considered. But I mean, it's fine, right? Like it's okay. It functions. It does what it needs to, right? So let's do this. Let's go back in. I'm gonna pop Sunlight, Sunshine, whatever it's called, and then we're gonna see, and we're gonna compare and contrast, right? And then we'll go through on melee. I don't really understand range a whole heck of a lot. I could go show it with Necromancy. I'm kind of trying to truncate this for explanation's sake. So if we go back in, and then we pop Sunlight at the start, right? Because we still, and then obviously you'd pop your Adrenaline Potion here. That'd be something that you would do. Sure, we're gonna pray there. I'm not even using any curses to make myself a little bigger. We can move out of the way here. I'm still on the tile, so that still counts. We're going to do that. We're going to do that. We're going to rack and ruin. I don't want to use my channel quite yet because he's going to pop out the funny. Actually, we could probably do it. We can push. 3, 4, 5. There we go. That was what? 30 seconds? So you see that it still functions without it, right? Yes, you're doing 50% more damage. However, like, you can still function without it, right? So now let's go and compare this to melee. And this is kind of where my criticisms and critiques come from. I'll keep the variables pretty low. I'll pray magic, but I won't use my my curses. My curses are these right here, which actually increase my own damage while decreasing stats on my opponent. So we're gonna go on with melee. We'll do 2H. We'll do dual wield first, and then we'll move on to we'll do melee first, and then we'll move on to two-handed, and just kind of get a feel for things, right? I mean, this is currently my like current setup that I'm kind of doing. Like that's still magic. What's happening? Why do I have a magic ability just in the middle of my bar? What's happening here? This is melee dual wield. Didn't I have another one set up? Okay, this is I think was the one from the left. I think this might have been the one from the beta, maybe. Well, let's go in. Private encounter. So we're gonna do it without berserk. That way we can kind of get a, how do I word it? Kind of a benchmark, right? So it was, 43 seconds, 30 seconds, 30 seconds apiece, right? So you can already see I'm taking a lot more damage, and I'm also praying as well. Part of that's just using Havoc. I was both using Power Armor on both of those, actually. I don't actually remember my loadout here. Critical Strike. But you already see a little bit of a difference, right? And part of this is, yes, part of it is a subpar bar. That I have to give credit to that. Need to unlock my thing. And we'll work on the bar later, because they actually did reintroduce some stuff. Let's not overpower. Where's my punish? We'll Meteor Strike that. I forget that Langs has a special attack, honestly, if I'm being completely honest. Should probably be using Quake here as well, lower defense. That was approximately 1 minute and 3 seconds, so almost double, right? Like, not necessarily a good look, right? So, and that's dual wield. I'm not super good at dual wielding, if I'm being completely honest. So, we'll mix it up and we'll be fair here. Let's do that. Let's do that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's wear the Execuel, because the Execuel already is just going to be just disgusting. I could have swore I'm gonna have to mess with this action bar. That 18. I think 18 was the one I was using in live game. I think. I might actually have to build this really quick, actually, because I don't have access to what I should have. No, right, because they deleted that. Okay, so let's go F4. Basic attack is going to be 3. Let's see. How do I want to do this? Hurricane requires two-handed. I'm assuming we don't have Quake anymore. And so that's without Berserk. That's the big one that I kind of wanted to showcase, is that's currently without Berserk. And that's going to become a little more apparent fairly soon. Why are buttons not dragging? Maybe it's because I'm in the boss room? Yeah, it's probably because I was in the boss room. We got Pulverize. I don't have Dive, don't care. Ooh, they brought Quake back. Okay, cool. We have Quake, so that's actually going to be really good. That's actually huge. I think there's also some latency issues because we are on a pretty, it seems like it's a pretty populated beta server. Let me build this bar so we can actually give it a good actual test. Let's see. Assault, Adaptive Strike. Adaptive Strikes, that's a channel in a cone. Overpower. Pressing Blow. Bloodlust, 4 stacks is empowered. I feel like we do like something like Pressing Blow first. We got Pressing Blow. We got Greater Fury. Strike at the target with unnecessary. Next melee attack is guaranteed to critically strike. So we can go ahead and do that. I think it's because there's oh, that might be a bug. It's probably because there's blank spots on my bar, so it has to refresh. So probably something like Greater Flurry, because that's a 15 second, 10.2 second. We'll do something like that. We don't need to really backhand right now. That's pretty much my basics. Dismember's still gonna have that. Chaos Roam Berserk can be at the end of the bar. Meteor Strike needs to be any additional enemies with 1 tile you. They're not 1.5 times agility. Generally, it's we can keep that at the end of the bar. That's fine. Greater Barge. Yeah, if I was being good, I'd probably use it. Dismember, we'll throw that there. So Punish is going to be the big one. I can get this down to about 4 abilities. Because currently with Necromancy, I have about 3 on my bar. So if we go to combat mode, 3. That's my current Necromancy setup, is I have 3. We have a 15 cooldown, we have a 10 cooldown, we have that. We have Punish whenever we need to. Greater Barge can go somewhere like here. Having Quake back is pretty huge. That's going to be pretty mandatory. Quake should reasonably be up as much as physically possible. Let's see. So we should probably do something like Quake, do something like Pulverize. Pulverize can go there. Because we definitely want to get Hurricane in there. So we'll do something like that. Overhead Swing, big damage. Meteor Strike is 220, 250. So it looks like Overpower is still going to be kind of your big one. Or at least one of your big ones. Overpower, Meteor Strike. So something like that. I feel something like that would be fairly reasonable to go in with. It's not perfect. It's not a perfect bar, but this will help illustrate kind of the differences. Private Encounter. So let's swap back to Langs. Langs, you do kind of lose one specific. We lose Hurricane, but that's about it. So this is going to be... We're going to do this with Berserk, or without Berserk, and then with Berserk. So we got that, and then we can go Earthquake, we can go Pull, we can go... Could be using special abilities in there somewhere. Having the 3 stack of Dismember is actually kind of cool. I'm actually huge into it. Like, you can already see my DPS has kind of increased a bit, right? I'm gonna have to go back a little bit. We're gonna go Chaos Roar into that. Nope, never mind. That ability's just not proccing. What? That's interesting. That's just bugged out. So that was approximately 58 seconds. Which is fine. Which is okay. We'll go at it again. I don't know why it's that one specifically. It's not activating. F4. Oh, because it's that's actually a bug because it's not supposed to activate with dual wields. I see that now. That's fine. Which means dual wield is actually going to be taking a little bit of a hit. So let's compare and contrast that, right? We just saw the math on that. What's Berserk, which gives us 2x ability damage? Which are 2x damage, but we take like 50% more, right? I do like the stacks. I think stacking like 14 abilities is actually really good. $36. Okay. That was 43 seconds. So that shaved off about 10 seconds, but that made me feel like I was physically doing damage. None of this actually goes to my inventory, so it's fine. Let's do that. Meanwhile, let's go back and let's take it to... Let's do the two-handed side of things, especially because I'm a little bit more familiar with the two-handed side of that rotation. And then once we actually get what I'm trying to do across, we will then go back and read the document in full, because I want to see what changes they're specifically making. And then we can see about doing certain things. Okay. So, once again, we'll do this. We will go ahead and hop on in, and we will hop in without... we'll do not Berserk first, and then we will do one with Berserk. Flamebound Rival. It is just not working. I think it's actually bugged. I mean, I'm not even going to get enough time to activate the Executive, let's be honest. I'm not going to be able to get... with how it's working, I'm not going to be getting enough time to actually go ahead and do that. Quake is going to be something you're going to want off cooldown. Yeah, that button's just bugged. Interesting. So that was about 48 seconds. I would argue two-handed is actually a little bit better than dual-wield at this point, which is actually super interesting. At least from base, right? Morning from Zoom. Hi, how's it going? At least from base, it's a little interesting now, because dual used to be the king, if I understand that correctly. Okay, so that one's about 48 seconds. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna pop Zerk once we're in, and then we're going to go in from there, and that'll be a good placeholder. Private encounter. One. Hop on in. Two. Ooh, I might actually die here. Gotta break a little bit of that, because I will actually die if I don't do this. The other big part of melee is holy fuck damage once you do Berserk. That's why I actually have my EOF. That's why I have Ceradome and Godsword in there. This is where I would use that, but I can't physically use that ability. And that was about 42 seconds. And even then, like, I could have thrown a few more of the thresholds in there. I still call them thresholds, even though they're technically not thresholds. They just use adrenaline cost now. So that's kind of the benchmark, right? Like, I mean, I'm obviously a little more comfortable with magic, so that definitely plays in that calculation a little bit. But for all intents and purposes, like, you see how melee can output that damage, but it feels a little staggered. Not only does it feel a little staggered, though, but it's odd to get going. And melee's kind of had a style identity problem going on for a hot minute. Berserk specifically doesn't affect bleeds. And so when we had, this is new Zuck spec, when we had old Zuck spec where it was just a bleed, you start running into some issues. So let's continue with the design document, because I want to see where their heads are at. Pressing blow, Berserk using punish, the target's below 50% life points will generate maximum number of stacks that you can continue benefiting throughout your rotation. Alongside the above changes, melee often feels weaker than the other styles, as we can kind of see, especially in the early game, as it has to get close and dirty in order to damage a target. We're rebalancing melee to up the base effectiveness of the style and make it feel less reliant on Berserk, and that, I think, is the good change here. If they're making it less reliance on Berserk, it feels like in order to do damage, right? Like we did the melee set, right? It feels like doing melee, or doing magic, like we did that in, what, 30 seconds with Sunshine? And even then, with with Berserk, right? I mean, we're doing it in 42 seconds, right? You have to get close. You have to get dirty. You have to worry about positioning, right? With Jad, you have to worry about melee being introduced as well, because he can punch you. Bosses and stuff can punch you if you're within range, right? So you have to worry about praying melee at that point as well. So it's a lot to consider, and you have to think about more in the same time frame. Alongside the buff change, buff feels weaker, balancing them to update the effectiveness of the style, feels slightly less reliant on Berserk. Pretty happy with that. Heavy blow generates some bloodless stack, generates 9 adrenaline. I like the 9 adrenaline personally. At 4 stacks, your next melee ability is empowered. Basic attack heals you. Assault. Well, actually, the fact that basic attack gives you, I like this. I actually really like that in terms of potency and stuff. I actually am a huge fan of that. Assault gains 50% crit chance. Greater flurry. Stuns and binds targets. So that's actually another stun in your kit, because we removed like 2. Because we removed like a lot of melee's rotation. Hurricane reduces the cooldown of Hurricane for 4.5 each enemy hit. I think the 8 enemies, unless you're doing like Abyss Runecraft farming, like who's hitting 8? What are you doing? Even in Fight Kiln, Fight Cave, Zuck, where are you hitting 8 enemies in bossing, right? I just think it was a little bit of a high bar to hit, and clearly they thought so too. So Pressing Blow is going to be a very good enabler. I'm actually really interested to see what they do with that. Basic attack, 100% to 150% average per hit, 0.66 for fast weapons. Backhand, so yeah, fast weapons are going to go down, but obviously you hit more often. Backhands, increased potency. Flurry, increased potency. Adaptive Strike, increased potency. Looks like Dual Wield is actually doing better damage with Adaptive Strike, personally. Dismember Lung, a basic ability, costs 0% adrenaline. 28 to 40 average, 5 hits into 6 hits. Hurricane, instead of requiring a specific number of targets to reset its cooldown, it now reduces its cooldown by 3 seconds of each enemy hit. I think that, honestly, talking in private, this was what they needed to do. It incentivizes you to hit more enemies. If you need to just shotgun it, you shotgun the Hurricane. But if you don't have 8 enemies around you, you can hit 4 and still be fine. And I think this is what they needed to change. It needed to not have a hard enemy hit or enemy requirement, but like it incentivizes you to have more enemies get hit. First hit, and then AoE hits. Dismember Recast 1, 35 to 90% average, move the movement damage multiplier. Yeah, I think that just makes it a little more simplistic. Dismember Recast 2, from bleed hits. So it looks like potencies across the board are just getting punished, or getting boosted, and I'm okay with this. Berserk, while we wanted melee to have a bit more power, we're aware that during Berserk, melee was already very strong. To mitigate excessive power creep, we're bringing Berserk down to account to baseline power. With the above changes, we expect a player's Berserk to be roughly the same damage as live, okay? So damage multiplier to 1.7 times in self-damage multiplier. I think that's a good one. So this goes into me, and I've been having conversations all week. I mean, you can talk to anyone I've been talking to RuneScape-wise, where, well, Polarize is also considered an ultimate ability. That's actually really interesting. So the problem is when you consider things in-game, right? Like when you consider magic, right? You consider not Tsunami, Sunshine. I have Greater Sunshine, but it's the same effect, right? Magic attacks deal 1.5 times damage whilst in the area. Okay, cool. So you stand inside the funny circle and you do more damage, right? We have Death Swiftness, right? I haven't tried out ranged yet. Create a Shroud of Death. Create a 7/7 at your location. Ranged attacks deal 1.5 times damage while in the area. Okay, move to Necromancy. Necromancy has a bunch of stuff. It actually augments like 5 of your abilities. But like, you're doing, Finger of Death deals 1.5 times damage. So your basics are developing necrosis stacks, and you're hitting for 1.5 times damage. So when we go over to melee and we look at Berserk, it was at 2 times damage, and you received 50% more. I honestly think that Berserk they're designing too much around Berserk. They really want Berserk to work. And Berserk doesn't work on bleeds. It just doesn't. That's not how it's coded to work. Hey, Run, thanks for the watch streak. So the fact that we had a 2x multiplier on damage, and then we're taking 50% more damage, at that point, what logically, from a game perspective, what are you doing? What are you looking at? How do you mitigate that? You build as big damage as you can go. and then you're trying to mitigate damage by honestly using like Soul Split and healing off damage. But the problem is you can only mitigate so much damage, right? You can only be so aggressive, and you're also taking 50% more damage. You're not using Magic Crypt Bloom. You're not using Tank Armor, right? Well, the Crypt Bloom specifically can use Animate Dead, right? What do? Shield Shadows from Necromancy, but that's 20% chance to dodge. You're still just eating shit, like, if we're being honest. So you're still eating a lot of damage, and there's not really many ways to mitigate that in comparison. And yeah, that is going to be an argument of, well, you're using Havoc. Using Havoc versus, I actually need to probably pull that off and put that on my yeah, I need to put that on my other set. Well, you're using Havoc, right? You're using inherently it's power armor for one, and you're using an all or nothing style, which you are correct. It's how I can get 120% adrenaline, as well as the set bonus on it. Berserk duration extended by 6 seconds. The maximum adrenaline is increased by 20% while using melee. After casting a melee ultimate ability, regenerate 50% adrenaline over 18 seconds. If this is already active, instead of generate 20% ability. Like, a 20% adrenaline. It's you want to build Unga Bunga, but you just can't tank the Unga Bunga. So you don't Unga Bunga, right? It's counter to it. So this tells me that they're cognizant, right? They're cognizant that Berserk is the issue, but clearly from their design doc, it still sounds like they want Berserk to really work, right? Damage multiplier of 2 down to 1.75. Self-damage multiplier 1.5 times, but and down to 1.2 times. So you're still taking 25% more damage. What stops us from having an ultimate like the other styles? If you want melee to be a good special boy, that's fine, but we need to have a kit that supports it, and that's been the big one. Chaos Roar getting a buff. Well, so base damage, so it looks like, hold up, 95 to 115 is an average. Damage multiplier, why are we nerfing Chaos Roar now, right? We want melee to have a bit more power. We're aware that during Berserk, melee was already very strong. To mitigate excessive power creep, we're bringing Berserk down to account for baseline power. Berserk should actually be a proper noun here. With the above change, we expect players Berserk to be roughly the same damage as live. I disagree with nerfing Chaos Roar, if I'm being honest. So this continues to tell me the core of melee is with the understanding you will always, every single time have Berserk live. But there are situations where you don't want to use Berserk, right? So if I go ahead and I use, let's roll with me on this, right? I'm sorry. So we're going through the document, but I'm going through in real time, right? Like we're theory crafting this here. So if I go to Vorkath, right? And I want to stress, like, when I say that we're having issues, right? And I know Vorkath isn't necessarily the biggest, baddest boss. I know it's not anything like Zuck or something like that. I know we're not damage testing something like Razzie. I don't know. Like, it's what I have access to right now, right? So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna do this. We're gonna play this exactly like I play my magic, right? Gonna activate Berserk. You see how much damage I'm taking? And look at that. See, I can't really heal stuff back, even at 1.25%, right? I think I've exemplified my point here. So if we pull back, right, we're going to do that exact same thing with magic, right? So clearly, when we look here, right, and this is not necessarily from an endgame PvP thing. This is from you're trying to do melee. You're trying to get into the style, right? That's fine. Okay, cool. So we saw melee. We see kind of the problems with it. We see kind of, okay, these are the things we're running into, right? These are the issues we're running into. So if we go here and we go back to magic, and we're actually keeping this fairly consistent, we're still using power armor. So nothing has changed there. Like, I honestly think melee is more of a support style at this point, with how the damage tables work, how the thresholds work, and stuff like that. So that was the first thing there, right? I mean, you're just taking so much damage, right? And you are really... I mean, I don't know why that one button is just not working. I mean, it might just be a bug in the beta. But, like, it's a weird one. It's a weird one to problem solve, right? So we'll use Soul Split. We'll do the exact same thing again. I think I had the wrong curse up, but that's fine. So we'll do this, and we'll pop Sunshine. We'll pop our ultimate, the same as before. And we're going to build up. Already, you can kind of see that there's a little bit of a difference, right? I'm using, spellbook-wise, I'm using Exsanguinate. I'm not even using the AoE one that I should be using. Ooh, Rack and Ruin is now... Okay, it's now called Sanguine Charge. Okay, so we do still kind of retain that. I would argue I've lasted a little longer and have a little more sustain as magic here, honestly. Yeah. Got a little tight, but it's like... You see the difference, right? Like, I'm not crazy here. Like, you see that there's a little bit of a difference here. So, that being said, we can go back to our melee bar. Sure, we regen from that. While we're regenerating, we will go ahead and do this. So Chaos Roar is coming down in effectiveness. It's a 1.5x now. I disagree with that. I think once again we're just inherently tying ourselves to always having Berserk active. Sometimes you don't want to activate Berserk on principle that you're just taking too much damage. That 25% is still going to be massive, right? There are times where you will just not want to activate it, right? But you can also argue there's a time where you want to activate Sunshine. There's a time you don't want to activate Death Swiftness, right? You want to make sure that, like, you're activating it. You know, if Forgath is jumping up, right, and he's doing his ice walls, right? Yeah, it makes sense that you don't activate it. You wait for that to go. You don't activate a channel when your enemy's going to force you to move, right? I mean, it's simple player stuff like that, right? Meteor Strike, generate 3% adrenaline every 0.6 seconds, generate 6% adrenaline every to 0.6 seconds. So Meteor Strike allows you to regen more of that. No longer clears when switching style, but only granted while you have melee weapon equipped. That's an ultimate ability, sure, I guess. Melee special, I mean, that actually works with Havoc as well, too. Melee special attacks, do not indirectly nerf special attacks with the above multiplier changes. Special attacks across the board have slight changes to their damage. Normal form or unassembled level live, okay. Abyssal Whip, Ancient Mace, Armadillo Godsword, Bandos Godsword, Barrel Chest Anchor, didn't even know Barrel Chest Anchor even existed. Form Honor is similar level to live. I mean, it seems like we're getting increases across the board. Exekill, yeah, first hit, 280%. Secondary hits up to 2, so it looks like they've gone up. I'm actually huge. This is actually huge. Quake has been able to give melee a bit more additional AoE and an early source of defense and affinity modification. Dude, I think Quake is, like, the removal of Quake was wild to me. Because Quake literally just says that they just have less defense. Like, simple as. Like there's no, like, it just, that's what that says to me. Yes, it's an AoE on legs, don't get me wrong, but it's also just like, it does more than that. Let me try to put this back on my bar. See if maybe it's just that specific instance of the button is bugged. Maybe not. Can I... That's a little interesting that just doesn't work. Okay, that's weird. Okay, now it works. I don't know what was going on with that. Okay. So it looks like we got increases across the board. Quake literally just says to reduce the defense stat of all enemies you hit by 5%. That's just 5%. I mean, we vuln bomb for 10%, right, as a consumable. And I'm assuming those stacks. That's pretty cool. Ability modification. These are... Okay, so these are... range. Don't really care about that right now. Magic ability rule. Detonate has been disabled. Really? Detonate, Magma Tempest, and Corruption Blast all set in a weird spot to being AoE abilities. I mean, yeah? I actually haven't seen the magic changes here. Fuck are we looking at? I know we're focusing on melee today, but I want to actually see what this is. Yeah, no, Detonate's just gone. So what happens to the funny boots? What happens to Blast Diffusion? I guess Blast Diffusion just gets depreciated, increases the charge rate of Detonate by 100%. Yeah, so it's 3/6 instead of 5. So what are we doing with Detonate? I mean, yeah, I can kind of see this. It kind of feels like a dead ability at times, but it's still a pretty big, like, It's still pretty big, right? I think Detonate was fine. I think it had its use cases, but I can see why they think it doesn't have use. Detonate, Magma Tempest, Corruption Blast, all set in a weird spot to AoE abilities. They all serve roughly the same purpose with a little to differentiate them. With a focus on reducing ability blow and others, and After speaking to you, we've looked to disable Detonate as was least favored of the 3 abilities, and push Magma up a tier. So is Magma going to cost Generation now? Divros, hey, thanks for the follow. Where's my Tempest? No, they made it cost Adrenaline. I hate that. I actually hate that. Yeah, because it's no longer a basic. Adrenaline raised from 0% to 25%. Damage raised from 27% to 40%. Bad news. Worst news possible. Lost game. How could you? Countdown raised from 15 seconds. Bro, who asked for that? Bro, like, actually, who asked for that? I thought Magma Tempest was in a I don't know. Maybe it was a little strong. Maybe it was actually a little strong. I'm not happy with the magic change on that one. I mean, it was fairly dumb. Like honestly though. Now applies crit benefits to the entirety of the next attack. This means it will last both hits of wild magic. Igneous. What the fuck is an igneous omnipower? Oh, igneous. That's a 3, right? But only the first channel of an asphyxiate. That's it. Then why word it like that? Like, that's not how that works. Each attack increases critical stance of your magic attacks by 7%, stacking to a maximum of 21%. Channeled. Next attack is a singular cast. I mean, that's a weird way to word it. The entirety of the next attack. I don't know. That one's a weird one. I mean, I guess wild magic sees more usage in that case. G-Con, critical strike, 8%. 8% to 7%. Sped up hit timing. Sonic Wave, Runic Charge, Sonic Wave, Adrenaline Reduction. Runic Charge, Greater Sonic Wave, Adrenaline Reduction, 60% to 45%. Fixed a bug to prevent the buff from being consumed. Fixed a bug that allowed flow to be consumed by non-magic abilities. Wild Magic. Yeah, cooldown on Wild Magic's fun, so they want you to use that a little bit more. Level requirement raised from 14 to 19. Yeah, sure, whatever. Level requirement reduced from 20 to 12. Interesting. I mean, this is also early game stuff, to be fair. We like smoke tendrils being an impactful payoff for crit strike damage, as well as synergizing with Tsunami. I've never used the two together, if I'm being honest. I never even thought of this. However, the lack of crit boosting gear in the mid-early-late game meant that the base kit you weren't comboing off as much as you would like. Okay, so Smoke Tendrils is from Azazandra's quest, isn't it? Why are we thinking about this from an early game perspective, though? You should reasonably be doing stuff through, what, 80? Right? Like, it's not like you get Smoke Tendrils in the first 10 hours playing, right? Or the first 40 hours playing, right? Even, I would argue, even 120 hours playing, right? You're still leveling stuff. You have quests to do. You have skill requirements and stuff, right? Reducing Smoke Tendrils to a 0... What is happening here? I'm sorry, we're here for Melee, but honestly, the magic changes are boggling me right now. You aren't comboing off as much as we would have liked. Yeah, I don't use Smoke Tendrils is supposed to be the thing you use when you don't have shit to use, right? For all intents and purposes. I want to clarify, this is not me slagging off the devs. This isn't me slagging off RuneScape. This is working in real time of, like, how are we making some of these decisions and working through this? Because these are a lot of really big changes, and I don't know if I like where Magic is going on this one. So we reduce Smoke Tendrils to 0% Adrenaline ability, so it can act as an immediate Adrenaline stem when combined with Tsunami without needing all the crit upgrades. Smoke Tendrils has been reduced from 55 to 37, 15 to 0 for Adrenaline requirement. Why? Does it still damage you, though? It should, right? Yeah, no, 65. Tendrils of Smoke, whip at the target's feet. Magic damage per hit. Yeah, you still damage yourself. So, here's the other thing as well that I want to bring up. Because I don't know what the goal here is, if I'm being honest. So, if we go to ranged, right? Where is it? We have Shadow Tendrils. We have Shadow Tendrils in ranged, right? So this is unaffected. This still costs adrenaline, right? This still costs something. And then we go to magic, and then we go, okay, it's a weaker version, and you no longer have an adrenaline cost on it. Okay, sure, I guess. And then you go to melee. What's missing in melee? As far as I'm aware, last I checked, what's missing in melee? Something that they very specifically removed in the first beta. They just outright removed it. It's also a quest reward, by the way, lest you forget. We no longer have blood tendrils on melee. It's just gone. They 86'd it. Like, it's gone. Like, does not exist anymore. So, I don't know what their goal is right now with the tentacles. I don't understand what their whole tendrils, like, they removed melee's tendrils, and Magic's now doesn't cost adrenaline, and they want it to combo with Tsunami. I almost wonder if it's like Jagex has a way that the classes are meant to be played. You must play melee with Berserk. You must Igneous Tsunami with Smoke Tendrils. And I wonder if they try to cram the style into that box. I think that might be how they're working it, because like there is skill bloat, there is ability bloat in live, right? I don't understand the tendrils. So melee doesn't have one. I'm having to text this to somebody in real time. So range still has 25% adrenaline. Yeah, it does. I don't understand what they're doing. I think there's warring visions here with tendrils, and I think they're trying to in real time, like they're trying to spot fix things, but I think it's not taking into account the core behind the tendrils, like the core idea behind it of being a risk reward. Adrenaline ability that you use during your off time. I don't know how to feel about it. Like it feels like we have it feels like we have warring like things here, right? Like it feels we have warring ideology on how the tendrils should be used. And obviously Necromancy doesn't have tendrils because it's the newest style. It just doesn't have them. It was not released during Azazandra's quest, which is fine. Like it doesn't really matter. Like it's whatever. Like it's already strong as is, in my opinion. Could probably be better, but that being said, yeah, so I was curious about this. Sanguine Charge. Exsanguinate and Sanguine Charge felt a bit lost. Well, because it was an ability, it was Rack that turned into Rack and Ruin using Exsanguinate. So I'm glad we didn't lose it, but it definitely makes me feel a little, Losing the 12% damage boost never really felt worth it. We're switching it up to keep the stacks. Instead, the player sacrifices some HP to Sanguine Charge. Why? Additionally, Sanguine Charge improving combat felt lackluster, especially with Combust no longer being a basic. Oh, that's gonna hurt. That's actually really gonna hurt for it's really gonna hurt for the dual wields. Roar of Awakening and Ode to Deceit. That's gonna hurt for those actually. No longer being a basic, we're swapping this out so Sanguine Charge instead has a reduced cooldown compared to its bluer cousin, letting you power up your basics more often and keeping the theme set out with the Blood Tie stacks. No longer consumes Blood Tie stacks, now costs HP, no longer extends Combust. Cooldown 30 seconds to 19.8. So what does Exsanguinate even do anymore? Like, what do you do? Extremely powerful file spell. On magic attack, gain a stack of Blood Tithe. Okay. Blood Tithe. Basic magic abilities. Sure. Deal 1% increased damage per stack. Yeah, so you still get 12%. At 12 stack, Runic Charge transforms into Sanguine Charge. Sanguine Charge has a reduced cooldown and costs 20% of your max life points to cast. Why? I mean, we had another ability that cost HP. It still costs HP. Damage yourself per hit. Yeah, like it. Why? Was it really that bonkers? I feel this is just a really big overhaul. I don't. Huh? I guess they didn't want the HP drain to be too much. So they nerfed the damage and dot to yourself with smoke tendrils, but increased 20% on exsanguinate on. That's rough, my guy. That's huh. Yeah, was not expecting that one. We'll come back to that. Stuns from melee, ranged and magic now unlock at 31 and unlock their second charge at 54 to allow usage of these in earlier progression. Sure. Updated overpowered Deadshot, Omnipower, and Death Skulls to require 60 adrenaline by default, as thematically an ultimate damage dealing ability should feel impactful, but at the cost of 100% adrenaline, it's never really worth it. Sure, yeah, I could agree. You reckon this will change best in slot perks much? I know Karoming is seeing a rework, right? I don't know what they're reworking it to. This one's a head scratcher. I think beta 2 is a little more rough. So, okay, before we read this next section, so that was the accomplishment for this cape, for all of these capes, the igneous capes, is that you made your ultimate or one of your ultimates, it reduced it to about 60% to a threshold, right? Meanwhile, so hold up, before we get into the Zuck cape, because I have opinions on that. Incite Fear, extremely powerful water spell. On magic attack, any stack of Glacial Embrace. Oh, they changed this as well. I didn't even notice this. Tsunami cost, well, yes and no. Tsunami cost 12% less adrenaline per stack at 5 stacks. Magic attack trigger an area of effect damage, dealing 10 to 50% damage to the target, and up to 8 additional enemies within 2 tiles of your target. So this remains pretty much the same. Incite Fear pretty much is the same. It's going to make your Tsunami actually do stuff. That's fine. Although I don't see Tsunami in my bar. I have Tsunami. I have it unlocked, I assure you. I don't know what's going on here. Unless they change Tsunami. Magic. Yeah, they just removed Tsunami from my bar. That's kind of wild. Okay. Dude, Magma Tempest makes me sad. Like, Magma Tempest actually makes me depressed. As somebody who just got it the other day for like 600 mil, I'm actually really depressed over Magma Codex. Like, I was surprised it wasn't, but I'm also like, it felt rewarding to either GE Warrior that or Zuck that, right? So, the Igneous Capes, speaking of Zuck, right? The Igneous Capes. You cannot buy these. That one right there, I don't have that. It means I have to do hard mode Zuck, right? I don't have that. That's kind of your reward. That is your best in slot cape. That is your reward, right? So let's read on. Let's read on and see what they're doing with ability modification. Full melee, only just got all best in slot perks on my beer. Loving it. So much fun. Where it's all going to change. I've been trying to wrap my head around melee for a hot minute, and this got me excited for it. We started off kind of comparing, contrasting magic versus melee. Like, even going into Vorkath, I'm still just eating I'm using Havoc. I mean, that's the other thing, right? I'm using full Havoc set. So, I mean, I'm eating crap just going into the first giant pull in Vorkath, right? I've been very much trying to make it work for a hot minute. So, anyways, back to ability modification. This is where previously the Igneous Capes from Tazkal Zuck would rectify the issue. Correct. Yeah, you earned that reward. However, we want these abilities to have value at its core and not require a late game upgrade as the solution. Going forward, we want to classify ultimate abilities as thematically strong abilities that fit the fantasy. Updated the Igneous Cape information and its effects reflect this. What? Bolsters Omni power ability, causing it to hit 4 times that reduced damage. Still ultimate. I feel that's just nerfs the Zuck capes more than anything. Like, it felt rewarding to do Zuck. I mean, he's kind of a wall, but if you're running into a wall, what's the fix, chat? You make your players play with power, right? The funny Nintendo meme. Now you're playing with power, right? I'm not sure this is going to work the way they want it to. I think this really invalidates the Zuck upgrade. Like, it should feel meaningful. Zuck is a 17-wave gauntlet with like 600,000 HP. Yeah, 50,000 degree increments throughout the fight. Like, you have to fight 6 Jad. You have to fight a Hurricane, right? And then Zuck himself, right? Like, I don't know. This one's a weird one for me. I don't know how to feel about the capes. But I guess Magic's kind of the weird one, right? Because if we go here and we go we go Igneous. Bolster's overpower, causing it to hit twice. I guess it being 60% is fine. Bolster's dead shot, causing it to hit an additional 4 times. Good God, range is winning. Bolster's the Death Skull's ability. Is that a typo, or am I having a stroke? Bolsters the Death Skull's ability, it to target an additional 2 times. Okay, so that's a typo. Because I feel like I'm stroking out here. Can I print screen that? That's actually really funny. I actually really love that. I smell toast. Oh my god. Okay. To retarget additional 2 times. I mean, that's fine. Yeah, like, sure, I guess. I don't know. That's weird to me. Why are ultimate... Why would you just inherently make it cost 60%? I guess, yes, it's supposed to be a early game, mid game change, but like, just make it cost 40% less adrenaline. Like, I don't understand it. I don't understand the core for this change. Should feel impactful, but it costs 100% adrenaline. It's never really worth it. I guess I can understand the logic a little bit here. Basic Magic got a little shafted in terms of Zuck Cape, while everyone else got some kind of upgrade. If I'm understanding it right. I mean, like, even in live, right? Like, the Magic Zuck Cape, it does cause it to hit. It causes it like to hit like 3 times that reduced damage. So technically, it's a little bit of a buff. So, because now we're hitting 4 times instead of 3 times. I mean, it's interesting. It's interesting to consider. I'm a little mixed on the Zuck Cape one specifically, but I have to also state my bias because I really like Zuck. I really like gauntlets like that. I am biased. I will state that is biasing my opinion here. Modify, so damage per level. Modify the way damage per level is calculated. TLDR, damage per level now increases more in the early and mid game. Sorry, sneeze snuck up on me. Ugh. Damage now increases more in the early and mid game and less in the late game. Sure, okay. To make early combat less tedious without impacting the end game. Bro, just kill cows and Lumbridge or goblins and Birthorpe. I got to like 40 on that, easy. With the removal of auras, yeah, this is going to be a big one. With the removal of auras, we understand that the average PVMer becomes weaker, especially those who revolve their gameplay around only to combat under specific aura. I mean, yeah, Vampirism, Aegis, Penance, I mean, yeah, they're fun little buffs. Okay, so what's your plan here? In addition to this, we're introducing 120 combats, which roughly offset this damage loss. However, we don't want you to feel like you need to hit 120 in the relevant skill before you start bossing. That's just going to be a byproduct, unfortunately. As a result, we've modified the damage per level formula. In live, it takes this. It takes the relevant stat level when using a ranged weapon, take your range stat, and multiplies that by 2.5 linearly. Okay, we've modified how damage per level is calculated by adding a logarithmic scale to damage per level curve to alleviate some of the benefits of the auras. The aim is to add additional power to the mid game to make combat progression less tedious, without adding additional passive power to the end game where appropriate. For those who are more math focused, it uses the formula 145 times 2.5. The energy. I don't I'm not a math major. I like that they did provide this, though. I'm not a math major. 145 max level potion with boots, 2.5 originally damage per level. Don't really care. Basic attacks for ranged and melee now alternate hands when dual wielding. That's actually kind of cool, actually. Okay. Okay. Why? Like that's kind of the question I kind of have is like, why? I have a lot of questions. I have a lot of questions, actually. I guess Magma Tempest was really that oppressive that the community wanted it nerfed, I guess. So that's an interesting one. Okay. What are we looking at for a rotation here? Because I want to try to condense it to at least 3. Let's see. 4 magic. Okay, so sunlight needs to be up almost consistently. That's fine. I'm okay with that. We don't have detonate anymore, so we've lost an AoE option. I don't even know. I've never even used Golden Touch, if I'm being honest. I have no idea what this is. It's an alchemy stuff. I don't really care. Wild magic is going to be pretty good. Surge, okay. Greater Sonic Wave. Focus blast that pummels the target and leaves behind residual energy. Applies greater flow to self. Okay. What does greater flow do specifically? Going, it's going. We're hanging out. So we have impact. Smash the target. Generates 9 adrenaline. Sure, I guess. I don't know. Runic charge. Charge yourself with anima. Applies anima charge to self. This will charge your next ability. I feel like you just, at that point, you just don't use Exsanguinate. Hear me out. I feel like at this point, you just use nothing but Incite Fear. Especially when you make your Tsunami eventually just cost, like, nothing, right? Like, your Tsunami, it costs 100% just down to 60. I feel like Exsanguinate got nerfed, and it feels like Incite Fear is the new one, right? It feels like Incite Fear is just what you use. So, we're gonna do that. Yeah, I'm not a fan of Magma Tempest losing some of its luster, being honest. Asphyxiate. We'll do so Sunshine, we'll do that. That needs to be Omni Power. We can do that for Tsunami. Fucking Smoke Tendrils, I guess. A Runic Charge. Anima Charge to self. Your next magic ability is empowered. Greater G-Conk. Each attack gains an additional 20 crit chance. Your next magic ability costs 45% less adrenaline. Dragon's Breath, yeah. So, I mean, this is going to be your enabler, but it's every 30 seconds. Don't we have a basic magic attack now, though? Yeah, we do. We have basic magic. Generate 6% adrenaline. I feel like we actually go something like 4 here, honestly, though. So, do I really need Corruption? Corruption is 60-80, 5-hit, dot. Reduced by 20% initial damage with each hit, and will spread to enemies in the 2 tiles. I mean, that's honestly a dot, it's fine. G-Conk's 5.4, 7.2. 15. Next ability costs 20% less adrenaline. I kind of need that to be manually triggered. So at that point, I think we raise this to 4. I can't quite get the 3 out of it like I can Necromancy, but I think we raise this to 4. But that's also because I have Corruption Blast. If we had a Corruption Blast equivalent on Magic, I probably would have... How many kills do you have on that? Isn't that QBD? I might be thinking of the wrong one. Runic Charge is going to be a big one we need. Yeah, because Combust is now a threshold, which is interesting. That's my stun. Okay. I don't really care about my stun. I can do that another time. That's a sometimes ability. Probably be using Wild Magic more. Probably using Asphyxiate more. Combust is a 25. Yeah, this bar looks fine. This bar looks fine. I can work with this. So, fuck is that? Next time you receive damage, Sometimes damage is also dealt to the attacker. What procced that? What did I do to cause that? What's happening? What ability is that? I don't know what I did to get that ability. Okay, let's see how this works. I want to see how this works in practice. Because I'm very curious. English is hard. It's why I have trouble speaking it. I mean, they said they're removing auras, but they're still in the game, at least for the beta. Did I misread that? With the removal of auras, we understand the average gamer becomes weaker, especially those who revolve the gameplay around them. I honestly think this shafts a lot more. I think that damage per level, I think if this is kept as is, it's going to shaft a lot of players into the late game. I think this makes bossing more late game. I think it's counterintuitive to what their mission statement is. So, I mean, we already still see those. Like, eh? I haven't read the range section. I want to read that in a minute. Let's try something here. I want to try this really quick. There you are.
I will be your end.
Let's see how this works. I want to see how this rotation works. I need you. 1, 2.
No, always you. Why can't you just let it be, World Guardian? I'll tear right through you.
Oh, I can miss that. I missed that. Busy clicking. Yeah, because it just makes it cost 40% adrenaline. So why would you just not cast Incite Fear?
I will put you in your place.
1, 2, 3. I mean, I'm phasing him pretty quickly, all things considered.
The time threads have split.
1. Oh, I didn't have anything off live.
Right through you. You will break beneath me.
1, 2, 3. That's a 35% ability at that point. Yeah, so here's the thing, especially if they want smoke tendrils to go with Tsunami, why would you never not camp Incite Fear, right? Like, I'm not a fucking tier 1 magic user by any means, right? Like, I'm not fucking Superman at this game. But why would you not do that, right? I don't even really care about his mechanic because I'm not in hard mode.
You will break beneath me.
1, 2, 3. Oh, should have actually snapshotted that. Oh well. Yeah, I'm not gonna phase him in time. Yeah, so if you're supposed to do that, and then you're supposed to tendrils while you're doing it, I mean, it's interesting. skip both at once. I'm in Sunshine again.
If the needle won't heed my command, then I'll use a greater weapon, the Staff of Armadillo.
I honestly think that Magma Tempest is going to become a throwaway. I honestly think it will become a throwaway ability. I don't know. See, I say that, and that was actually not bad in terms of an ability. Like that. I don't know. That's a weird one. How long is it? It's a 25? That's going to be a weird one to justify, honestly. I feel that becomes a sometimes ability rather than an always ability, right? Like I'm not crazy on that one. That feels like a sometimes ability. I mean, I'm not even overloading, right? I'm not even overloading. Yeah, I have tier 95, right? I have almost. I have don't have anything on my bottoms yet because money expensive perks. But like, that's such a weird one to dissect.
Always you. Why can't you just let it be, World Guardian? I'll tear right through you.
Yeah, you have to anticipate just walk under him. Yeah, so if we do that, and then we do tendrils, and we'll do something like, I don't know, runic charge, and then we'll do wild magic. Well, it's supposed to be wild magic. There we go. Well, runic charge and omni power would be pretty cool as well. One. Ow. Two. The good old when you could just tank that with Crit Bloom. 3. I need him to stop moving is what I need him to do. Yeah, so I can Magma Tempest there because I know he's rooted. It's so weird. I didn't quite do it before Lightning Wall.
I control the threads of time. The time threads have split. I'll tear right through you.
Nerd. Three.
I will put you in your place.
1. 2. 3. I guess you can also use Runic Charge if you really felt so inclined to to reduce your Magma Tempest to like 25 if you wanted to for some reason, I guess. 1.
All its power. The time threads have split.
Oh, because I'm actually being a bad player and not using the actual rotation.
I'll tear right through you.
Don't care. We'll do that. We'll do tendrils. Runic Charge. Wild Magic.
You will break beneath me.
1. Can't click on him. 2. 3.
Witness the raw power of the staff.
Gonna tank that hit.
The needle won't heed my command.
Oh, he's already in enrage, so I mean, I'll take that, I guess.
The staff of Armadillo.
There's that Ring of Death proc. Can I do it before the Ring of Death kills me? Oh, can I do it? Can I eat my way? Can I brute force it? Nah. Rip. Almost died. Unfortunate. Yes, reclaim my items. Yes, that's the 822 DP thing. That's whatever. No, I just didn't play that safe enough. I mean, that's interesting. I have no other word for that than that's interesting. Like, go back to melee. Oh, we haven't even read over the range changes. Hey, just going back to, so go up to ranged, right? It'll take time to get used to that because, yeah, I was a little worried about getting used to Magic's current stuff. I think that it's a little bit of a miss in terms of Magic right now. So range. Following your feedback, we made some adjustments to Bugales to make it slightly more impactful, but reduced the amount of interrupts in rotation. We reverted the 1.2 global second cooldown to 1.8 seconds. Okay, interesting. Cooldown 15 seconds, 24 seconds duration, 4.2 to 6 seconds. Global cooldown 1.2 to 1.8. Imbue shadows. Fixed a bug that stopped the buff applying blade attacks such as the Crystal Rain special. Fixed a bug that made it free to cast outside of combat. AoE range has been increased from 1 to 2 tiles on bombardment. That's fine. Deadshot with Igneous Cape now hits for total 8 times. Sure. Also in Binding Shot, corrected hit timing. Sure. Snapshot, corrected hit timing. Sure. Corruption Shot and Blast are identical abilities currently. We'd like to change that so they feel less cut and paste. We're moving Corruption Shot to immediately tag nearby enemies instead of spreading Corruption to better play into the immediate bombardment after targets are drawn together. Now hits multiple targets in initial cast. Corrupt Dot no longer spreads. I mean, it's interesting. I'd like to hear it. Sure, go for it. Let me pull up my range kit. Because I have a range kit, I just don't have stuff like Bow of the Last Guardian. Range Trader. Decimations, alright. Magic Shortbow, Zamorak, Wretched Champa. Elder, Dark Bow, that's Blightbound Crossbows. Gloomfire Bow, where the fuck do you drop from? Give me that. Give me a Bow of Last Guardian. Give me an EOF. Give me Zamorak Bow. Yes, I don't really care. It's a good looking bow. It's expensive, but it's a good looking bow. Zamorak Bow needs to go in there. Okay. So go ranged. Some weird bleed over. I don't like that. Need to buy arrows. I hear when arrows are pretty good. Move Windows Linux. Has to be like nice. Hopefully it's a lot better for you. Give me some ammo. Champions ring. It's bleeding targets. Sure, give me a champions ring on that. No, wait. That's melee. Genesis Eston. Give me a Pernix Quiver. Hydrix, those are criminal bolts. They're bolts. Dragon Bane, Demon Bane. Where's my God arrows? Full arrows. All abilities deal 50% damage, have 10% hit chance, negative 10% hit chance. I mean, that's interesting. Bic arrows. All abilities applied max stack, evolving toxic on hit. Target takes 2% poison damage each stack of evolving toxin after 30 seconds without an ability. The Vicar hitting the target, all stacks are removed. I mean, yeah, so you just play into the dot build. If I remember correctly, I think it was when arrows are the big one. Basic abilities generate 1 Icy Chill. Non-basic abilities convert Icy Chill into Icy Precision. Precision blocks consumption of Icy Chill and gives non-basic abilities 2%. I think, yeah, Wens are going to be the big one. Give me all those when. Give me Fighting dragons and demons specifically. Give me Bick. Yeah, I think it's Wen and Bick are going to be the big ones. Okay. We'll go ahead and we'll use that. Use that. Use that. Using this weapon. I mean, that's fine. That's fucking whatever. What armor do we have for... Armor. I think Elite Dracolich is the highest tier, question mark. I mean, it's tier 92. I mean, I might as well. Take one, take one. Take one, take one, take one. Yes, one. 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 Wife. I want to see what they did with ranged, because I actually don't know what they did with it. I haven't really delved into it too much. Honestly, fucking, why does the Elite Dracolich look so good, dude? I don't want to drop that money. I really don't. Okay, so we're gonna do Wen arrows. Wen and Bick arrows do seem pretty much the best there. Range trader, trade weapons. That's, well, I mean, fucking ECB as well. Might as well take the ECB. Poultice, Reaver's Ring. Don't think I really... Stalker's Ring? Shadow's Mercy. Okay, let's look at what they actually changed with ranged, because I actually didn't do this the last beta test. We're kind of bouncing around. Like, I'm very much providing a more casual perspective on it, but I'm very curious about what they changed, if that makes sense. Okay, so if we go to F4 and we go to ranged, I think that magic is definitely in for a little bit of time. I think ranged might come out on top on this one, honestly, which is fine. Just gonna take a minute to get used to it. So ranged attack, we get a basic now. Greater ricochet, fire shot that ricochets. 13 range damage to the target. Does range damage to the target and up to 6 additional aims within 5 tiles. Target will be hit for additional damage for each enemy that cannot be found. I feel like you still lead with Gricko, right? Go over slots. Snapshot. I need that. Adrenaline. So, Death Swiftness is going to be at the end of the bar, which is fine. If I could find it. I've used this. Okay, clearly. We need to remove that. So, this... What is draining? What's happening? Oh, I don't have a puzzle box. Ain't am we? Looking at that. Oh, I hate that first symbol. I need puzzle box. Let's do that. Let's do that. I guess I could also get another EUF. I want to... What the fuck does your special even do? Splits... Oh, it is literally just the thing that fucking Necromancy gets. Are you actually serious? Like, actually, though? Like, what? Necromancy literally gets the ECB's ability. That's fucking wild to me, dude. Use... Yes. Yes. It's fucking a beta world. I can't trade anything anyways. How does this work? Oh god, I don't even remember the components. Make sure to love Gloomfire. Where does Gloomfire even drop from? I didn't even know this thing fucking existed. I was using Zamorak Bow. Where does this thing even drop from? I'm just going perkless for now. I don't really care. Shield can go away. Heists? Damn. That sounds expensive. What is... I don't even know the fucking... I'm going perkless. I don't really care. So wait, does that mean Boots of Fleetness go... They don't do anything anymore then? 34. Range damage 12. Allows rapid fire to be used when... Oh, no. So actually you will still use fleeting boots. Boots are actually pretty tech. We'll test both of these, honestly. Not really. It's 100 mil. Bro, does it fucking degrade? I might just go buy that and fucking live, honestly. That sounds really cool. What the fuck do you... What does this thing do? I literally didn't even know this is a thing. Nox, Decimation, Zarite, Darkbow, Cannel's Crossbow. Don't even know what you are. Never heard of you. Saren Godbow. Yeah, it's a tier 90. Does it fucking degrade? I don't think it does. So Gloomfire, ranged. It doesn't even degrade. So I might actually go buy that. I might go buy that later on live. Because I didn't know Gloomfire bow even existed. I'm not spending fucking bow last guardian slots. Okay, let's set up this bar. I'm curious how this is gonna work. But it's an EOF tool. I mean, yeah. But I mean, also, if I don't have a bow, might as well use it for now, right? Then I can just unaugment it later. Can I actually get my fucking big boy? I'm not worried about getting my big boys that cape. All right. So, how do we lead this off? So we have Death Swiftness is going to be at the end. We're going to proc that off cooldown. Sounds like Death Swiftness in general is... It's also why I like bouncing between the three styles, because sometimes some styles get nerfed. Greater Death Swiftness. I could use SGB. It also deteriorates. It deteriorates into dust. It's also like 2 bill. Because for some reason that never comes down. If it didn't deteriorate into nothing, I would be fine with using SGB. Okay. How are we doing this? I genuinely want to see how fucking Nemui was doing this. Also, the Dracula armor looks really good. I'm actually a little jealous of that. I am pretty jealous of that. Not dust. Okay, I'm calling cap. RS3 augmented Saren Godbow degrade. Is a degradable tier 92 two-handed short bow. Is created by using Dormant Saren Godbow, Orb of Pure Anima, Orb of Volcanic Anima, and Orb of Corrupted Anima requiring 92 crafting. All 4 of these can combine get obtained by defeating Telos. Saren Godbow, slightly higher accuracy and damage combination, Noxious Longbow, and Araxite arrows. In addition, the Charge Bow provides its own ammo. I guess I kind of want that though, yeah. Saren Godbow has 60,000 before degrading to a broken state. You know, Nemui, I can't read. I can't read. What's it going for on the GE? Imbue your weapon with Dark Whispers. So imbue Shadow to self, 30-second duration. Imbued Shadows. Ranged attacks generate an additional 5%. Bro, why do you just not keep this up off fucking cooldown? Why do you, like, yeah, you keep this up off cooldown. So fucking Shadows is disgusting. That's pretty hot, not gonna lie. Yes, the bars are bugging out in the beta, I'm noticing a little bit. I think they're just processing a little bit too much. Okay, so you're keeping that off cooldown. What about what's the other one, Gale? Yeah, we still have Shadow Tendrils, dude. Like on range, we still have Shadow Tendrils. Gale pairs with Rapid Fire. Well, yeah. Okay. What's Elite Dracolich, by the way? How much does that? How much does the set go for? So imbue Gales. Imbue your weapon with Searing Winds. Applies Gales to self. 6-second duration. Generates 9% adrenaline. Ranged attacks deal 20% bonus to... Yeah, so this is your rapid fire hit. Okay. That makes sense. But what am I starting off with? I like my basic attack being 3. We need Snapshot to not be there. I feel like we do... Because Gricko's 10.2. I feel like Gricko's second in board. Right? I feel like we do Gricko second. Piercing shot. Fire 2 piercing shots. Range damage per hit. 2 hits. That's a 3-second. So I guess we do something like... Piercing shot. I feel like, yeah, we do something like this. We do, like, piercing shot into basic. I need this to refresh. 1.5 bill. I mean, that's not awful. Snipe's a weird one because that's a channel. 1 minute cooldown as well. Let's see. What Bombardment's 25. Seeing what our basics are. I do need corruption shot too. Corruption shot's a 15. So something like what? Corruption shot, Gricko. Yeah, corruption shot, Gricko, piercing, regular. That sounds pretty spice. I'm into that. Snipe is going to be a sometimes ability. I can already tell. Death Swiftness, Dead Shot, Shadow Tendrils. Actually, Imbue Shadow should be at the end because I'm keeping that up off cooldown. That's an always ability. This is a sometimes ability. 40%, 100%. Tendrils, Dead Shot, Bombardment. Rapid Fire needs to be precedented by Imbue Gales. So we got Gales, Rapid Fire. Snapshot's the one I'm a little worried about. Fires 2 shots in quick succession. I guess you do... So hold up. 20 seconds, 5 seconds. Use autos and not Revo now. What do you mean autos? Like full auto? Sent you the rates in DM. Thank you. Those will also be higher because the GE is weird and people are being sleazy. What? No full manual, just using auto at this point forward. I don't know. So I guess chat, what's consensus on RuneScape, right? Like if you get the clear, that's all that matters, right? Like I mean in 14 obviously I full manual my shit, right? And I think I'm a decent tank all things considered. RuneScape, because of the movement and tile system, I feel more and more that auto is just the way to go, right? Like I like having my full rotation auto. Because they buffed auto attacks? What do you mean they buffed autos? Like... Hold, so I also have snipe. I have my stun. I don't know where snipe falls into play here. I mean, it's good. It's a basic that doesn't cost stamina, right? I kind of want my SGB. I'm going to be spending a lot more on bonds today. I can already tell. I feel like, yeah, we do Gale, Rapid Fire, Snapshot. I feel like that's the play there. Bow of the Last... Let's keep this simple. Let's keep this simple because I'm small brain. Where's my SGB? There's my SGB. We will wield. Although it shouldn't actually have ammunition. You son of a... I see that funny lizard. 336 Zamorgel and Vorkath kills. Oh, man. We'll do that. We'll do... Range Trader, Armor. Buy an EOF. Buy a Gloomfire Bow. I didn't even know this thing existed. I kind of need to pick this up today. Gloomfire Bow. So basic attack. It's just your basic. So hold up. The passive doesn't apply when it's in the EOF though, right? Passive Shadowfall. Yeah, so it's just the Shadowfall, the special. Okay, we'll go ahead and do that. We'll move that there. Gloomfire Bow, Bow of the Last Guardian. Okay, so Zamorak Bow. Gloomfire Bow stores a special attack which can then be harnessed as an ability. 50% chance for soul split to heal. Oh my god, that's sustain. Heal 25% life points. Protection prayers, deflection players, god. 10% damage, 6% max. Damage attacks grant 0.1% action. God damn, that's hot. Holy fuck. Okay, so I want to try this. I want to see how dumb this is. Join private. No. No, make private. Private encounter. There we go. I mean, if I can do content without Bow of the Last Guardian with Saren Godbow instead, I mean, honestly, like that's not bad. I don't have the ability for God Arrows right now, and I'm also dipping into range just a bit. 2, 3, 4. keep shadows up. See, and that's where we'd go. Gales, rapid fire, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Go into snapshot. Yep. So you can rapid fire into snapshot. That's actually a little disgusting. Not gonna lie. You for passive special. It's a triple shot, so it's a better dark bow. Gotcha. That is a lot of fucking damage, to be fair. Oh, dude, it fucking Gales comes up so quick, though. That's actually disgusting. What? What do you mean this is range now? What? I was for... Okay. I'm with you on that one, Nemwe. I think fucking range just wins. I think if I got the pet drop here, I'd be actually really fucking pissed. Holy fuck, I think range just wins. Like, what the fuck? How is that okay? How is that reasonable? I mean, I still have blight bounds and stuff. Like, I still have dual wield, but like, goddamn. Well, with needle strike as well. With losing that, I think it honestly just like cleans up the bar a bit. Okay, let's. Oh, I'm curious. Hear me out. Hear me out, chat. Let me cook. I honestly don't know how to really engage with this one. 5, so soul split in 6.
Yes! All lesser beings shall quiver under my wrath.
Bombardment? Bro, the adrenaline on this is fucking insane.
Make ready to bid this squalid.
I mean, that feels really fucking good, actually, though. Snipe should be...
You dare interrupt me. This fort shall be leveled.
Snipe just does a lot of big damage, too. Okay. So, like, we're doing these styles, right? And we see how this operates, right? Like, we see how that first group of enemies... I'm not going off of Soul Split, right? I'm not flicking off of Soul Split. Therefore, I am taking pretty much all of that damage. So that's fine. Like, I'm sitting here, I'm like, that makes the most logical sense here. I'm just gonna save that over just because I don't really care. It's the fucking beta. It doesn't transfer to live anyways. So how do we work this in a way that fucking melee doesn't get shafted, right? That's what I'm trying to problem solve. Because it feels like melee just doesn't... It's Regigiga slow start. It just can't get it going, dude. Vorcast solo ranged. I don't have the patience for that. I want to try to also work on melee a bit because I wanted to spend like maybe like 3 hours or something on this. We're already at 1 hour and 44. I wanted to see how long I spent on it today because I do want to actually go play live. But like, so let's go back to melee, right? Maybe it's just Zamorak set. Maybe it's just Zamorak. Maybe it's just Havoc is being Havoc, right? If we wield those, get rid of Langs. I think, honestly, dual wield is just not in a good place right now. At least from a low-tier perspective, if I'm being completely honest. What do we have from the melee trader? Trade armor. Not mithril. Yeah, because Havoc is still the most recent set. Trim Masterwork melee set. The set bonus, when damage per piece worn, 10% of incoming damage is delayed and dealt out over the next 6 seconds, 50% with all 5 pieces. But is that even really worth it, though? because yes, you're mitigating damage, but it's was it Carpenter Castle? It's the Crab Clan stronghold from Legend of the Five Rings Emperor Edition, where you just delay an action. Oh, I still kill you at the end of the turn, but I'm just delaying the action. Let's try a couple things. I want to try this. Because we've already seen that I can do Carapac pretty reasonably. I feel it's most important to get your igneous thing off first. 99. I don't even have... Okay, now we can get Zerk up. I mean, that already kind of hurts. 2, 3. We're going to Quake that.
I will put you in your place.
So melee, also, it's important to note, every style but melee can hit Carapac in the air. Melee doesn't have a tool to hit Carapac in the air. So we're already losing inherent value, right? Like, we're already losing melee uptime. Pressing blow into Fury. Do I have pressing blow? I should have pressing blow on my bar. I don't think I do.
Witness the raw power of the staff.
Like, you see how much slower this is going. What's up? Hey, how's it going? Chaos Roar into the Zuck spec? That did a lot less. Oh, because I was outside of Berserk. Purple guy. I do try to be. I mean, that's with him doing 12% less damage to me, too.
I'll tear right through you.
Like, your positioning is just so relevant as melee. I mean, it's not that it's not doable, right? It's just, it's a little slower than I was expecting. And so right there, using Berserk, I inherently lost all of my Berserk doing that. Why? Because I can't physically hit him as melee. So, it's interesting that they talk about power creep when melee itself is very much beholden to being a ground class, right?
Witness the raw power of the staff.
I mean, I'm putting out a decent amount of damage. It's just not good. Barge on your auto. It's a re-engage tool. Yeah, I keep forgetting I need to put greater barge on. All right. I mean, yeah, battle of attrition. It's that would have been fine. I guess where do I put fucking G barge? So I'm missing 2 skills then. I'm missing meteor strike, pulverize. So I'm missing the G barge. Greater barge is 20 seconds. Honestly, greater barge needs to be like here because that's a re-engaged. You're correct on that one. G barge needs to be moved up. Pressing blow. Well, that's on my 2. Yeah. So attack with heavy blow, 10-second recharge, melee damage, generates 1 blood stack at 4 stacks. I think it's fine as a 2. I don't think it's a 1. I thought that was a monkey noise from the Simians in Silent Hill 4. Thanks for the raid, Queen. So, like, we see how that works, right? Like, we see... It's a 1 because it does less than adaptive, does it? I was having Fury as my 1, because I thought Fury would have been the better pick, right? Surely. Was it not what? Sorry, I missed that. We'll hold off on Aura for the moment. If anything, I'll put on probably Penance. Was it not a monkey? I think it was, but I thought my brain crossed that with the sim. See, right here, I would personally not hit Berserk right here.
All lesser beings shall quiver under my wrath.
Yeah, I don't think Berserk works there. I guess maybe it does, and then you engage. I can't figure that one out. Critting your adaptive is more important, I guess. So pressing should be a 1. Do I even have adaptive on the bar? That's a good question. I thought I did. So we'll make that a 3. Basic attack. Punish can come off. Because the basic actually being up to... the fact that the basic got buffed in the way it did is actually really wild. I mean, I think two-handed just wins, though. Camping 2H when you should use dual in those situations. But does dual wield actually... we want to talk about fucking... Hold up. I got some spice. We got some spice. We got this. We got this, chat. We're gonna use the funny. We're gonna use the the AOE the AOE. I don't know what's proccing this. Next damage, 70% of the damage received is also dealt to the attacker. Yeah, I don't know what causes that. That's the goal. That you know what I'm doing. See, now we do this. See, now we do that, and then we can spin. Quake. The fact that Tumikins is useful here is a little disgusting, though. And then we can swap over to Exec. There we go. We did it. We found the one use for fucking Tumikins. Oh my goodness. There we go. Yeah. So that coincides with their vision, right? Where they're like, oh yeah, no, we need melee to feel more beholden to weapon swaps, right? Because I haven't been swapping Jack until this point, right? That coincides with their vision. So you are gonna need swaps. The fact that I fucking Tubikins off the rip is actually really funny. God, what a wonky weapon, dude. What a strange weapon. What a strange way to go about that, right? What a strange... What a strange. That's all I got. What a strange. I need 7. Wonk. Womp womp.
When I dispense with this rotten place, Mr. Bill shall follow.
Wop. Swap.
I'll show you what a real necromancer can do, charlatan.
Well, your powers. I mean, Meteor Strike's kind of funny because you definitely want Meteor Strike to go back on. I mean, I'll take it. This is progress. This is more than I've done with melee in a hot minute. Yeah, AOE swap over. Yeah, the 60-second on Tumikins is honestly relevant. I feel like, yeah, you just need to get Tumikins to the point where you can actually just fucking nuke shit. But you're not going to be in that situation a whole hell of a lot.
Rise, my loyal ones. Destroy this rat hole.
Where's my necromancy? Go ahead and cast darkness. Dimikins is off cooldown. See, at that point, then you hop off the big guy. I mean, the 25% damage instead of the new one, instead of the 50%, it helps a little bit. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, here we go. Here's my Saradomin Godsword. Fucking. Did they rework Saradomin Godsword spec?
Make ready to bid this squalid awful farewell.
All right, here's where shit goes downhill.
My writhing flames shall engulf the
So now we need to swap over to you. We need a Zuck spec on you. Ow. I'm gonna Quake. We're gonna actually Devo that. Like, that better not fucking hit me for much. I like that there's no music here. It's honestly super funny to me.
shall be your grave.
I mean, we're doing some damage, right? One, 2, 3. Ow, that hurt. I didn't think that actually interrupt his animation. That's actually really fucking funny. Oh god, that actually just fucking happened. Oh, that's funny. If I remember what my fucking bleeds are. I know this one's a bleed. 2, 3.
Be gone, gnawing pest.
Oh, that's actually really fucking funny. I love that. You gonna fly away yet? Or are you just gonna sit here like a dickhead?
Cut them down without mercy.
I'm almost out.
Get up. Why must you test my patience?
Yeah, that was just instant death. Whoops. Oh, watch R in 15 minutes. Nice, nice. I don't know. That's something I just have to practice more. I mean, I think it's got potential, right? I'm just one of those. That comes down to a practice thing. But I would even argue, just even against fucking range, dude. Like, we'll do this. We'll go through it. Let's do Rocktail. So Saren Godbow doesn't actually use these, does? No, Saren Godbow uses the Wen arrows. Yeah, I'm looking at that right now. It uses arrows. I thought it generated its own ammo. Special attack, Crystal Rain. Not Chocolate Rain, that's just a meme. Oh my god. Was camping Soul Split after Warcath came back? I guess that's fair, but that's a player issue, right? That's a skissue. I feel like it's getting better. I feel like that is getting a little better in terms of progression. Like, I like where that's at. And that's without Overload. So obviously Overloads would... Melee got F, looks like, compared to everything else. But that's just the state Melee's kind of been in, though. So what does Crystal Rain do? Range damage per hit up to 5 hits. Each pair of arrows will land randomly within 2 tiles of the target center. Ah, that's pretty cute. It's better with the beta too. I would say so. I would actually agree with that. I think it is a little better. I think this is actually progress considering how beta 1 went. Like, the fact that I was able to get to Vorkath, and I'm pretty bad at melee, right? I mean, a lot of that's just positioning, right? And I had to learn that in 14 with how... well, I know the tank side of things. I don't know the other side of things. I don't know... what do you call it? I don't know the other side of things. I don't know the DPS side of things. Like, I'm assuming that'll resolve itself in time. The fact that you just get so much adrenaline back is actually kind of wild. Yeah, so that one, he's already dead. We're gonna do that. I need to do you. I need to do 6. We're gonna do Crystal Rain, which is 30. It's a 30% adrenaline too. What the fuck? And then we can get Death Swiftness. Holy adrenaline, Batman. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Bombardment. I mean, you could argue that's consistent, right? Plus, you also get to kind of sit back.
This fort shall be leveled.
Can I hit the ghost, please? I don't even need to technically kill that ghost. That is actually a little disgusting that it works that way, though. I'm not even going to sugarcoat that.
My army shall rejoice on the cinders of your...
Guess you forgot to bring prayer pots, because I'm so good at this game. Yep, we'll keep shadows up. I think these are the Chaos Witches, actually, if I understand that correctly. Because they're actually starting to hurt a little bit.
And stand against my mighty undead.
To generate a little bit of ability.
When I dispense with this rotten place, Misthalin shall follow.
Where's my penance aura? I'm gonna activate that in sandbox setting. That way I don't have to worry about prayer points.
I'll show you what a real
Oh, like, the penance just not activate? What's happening? Shadows. Gales. Oh, I just died. That's the one. I mean, honestly, it's still better, though. I don't know. Like, it's... the beta... some of the beta stuff feels good. Like, ranged feels good. I'm not really in practice with ranged. It's actually probably the style I've done the least in a hot minute, right? I'm not trained on it. I think that it flows together really well, though. It makes me wonder... because I actually have this in live. We have a good one. Yeah, have a good one. Let's do this. I'm curious. Let's do that. Let's do... I don't really care about perks. Care, don't care. Pernix. Cocktail. I'm curious. Hop back into Warcath. What does Zuckcape do now? Zuckcape does a couple things now. So the ultimates that it actually modified originally now just have 60% adrenaline. They're just a smaller ultimate overall. They no longer adrenaline nerf things. I feel like the magic one kind of got shafted a bit though. So if we actually look at ability modification, overpowered, deadshot, omnipower, and death skulls require 60% adrenaline by default. The ones that are modified by Zuckcape. Thematically, an ultimate damage dealing ability should feel impactful, but at the cost of 100% adrenaline, it's never really worth it. I think the Zuckcape was perfectly fine mitigating that by 40% personally. In this section where you get into different builds, right? Which once again seems like Berserk is kind of their thing. This is where we previously, the Igneous Capes from Zuck would rectify the issue. However, we want these abilities to have value at its core and not require late game upgrades as a solution. Going forward, we want to classify ultimate abilities as thematically strong abilities that fit the fantasy. Updated the Igneous Cape information effects to reflect this. So the Magic one just makes... Magic one technically buffed Omnipower because now it does 4 hits at minimum nerfed damage instead of 3. Deadshot hitting 2 more times is tech. I mean, yeah, it is. I will say that for Magic, it was really interesting when we talk about Smoke Tendrils because... So, Sanguine Charge, we talked about this earlier, I'm not a fan of. So, Exsanguinate makes... Exsanguinate and Sanguine Charge felt a bit lost, losing 12% damage, but it's never really felt worth it. Switching it up to keep the stacks instead, the prayer sacrifice some HP for Sanguine Charge. So, Sanguine Charge no longer consumes the Blood Ties stacks, so you do keep your 12%, but it now costs 20% HP. 20% HP to cast that. I don't know if Exsanguinate is worth it anymore. I think that's... I think you just camp Animate... not Animate Dead. I think you just camp Incite Fear, because with Incite Fear, you also get, like, a 40%... up to 40% costing Tsunami. I really feel like that's a bit of an L. And they were talking about how... Magma Tempest was raised to 25%, 40% average per hit, raised from 50 seconds to 21 on the cooldown. I feel like as long as your target's rooted, you do it personally. Definitely a sometimes ability. Sped up hit timing on Tsunami. I'm trying to find where they said it. We like Smoke Tendrils being impactful payoff for critical strike damage as well as synergizing with Tsunami. I've never used the two in tandem with each other. I have never used those. I'm sure other PVMers have used it. Never thought to use these two in tandem with each other. However, lack of crit boosting gear in the mid, early, and late game meant that the base kit you weren't comboing off as much as you would have liked. We're reducing Smoke Tendrils to a 0% adrenaline ability, so it can act as an immediate adrenaline stim when combined with Tsunami, without needing all the crit upgrades. I don't know how I feel about it, dude. Like, the tendrils all over the place. Melee's blood tendrils are gone. Magic has reduced power, still damaging smoke tendrils, and ranged tendrils just still exist. I don't know what they're doing with the tendrils. Like, it as a Xandra's quest, it puts that in a really weird spot right now. I don't know how to feel about it, if that makes sense. I don't know. I wish I knew. I don't know, though. Like, it puts it in a really weird spot for me. I want to try Carapac, because I know I've done I can do Carapac. We're also using dual wields.
Always you. Why can't you just let it be, World Guardian?
Actually, it probably is better to open up with this, honestly.
I'll tear right through you.
Yeah, I mean, you get back your ult immediately anyways, too. That's actually kind of wild. Yeah, not having Needle Strike, I think, cleans up the presentation a little bit, too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then you can snapshot. See? You can still hit Carapac in the air. Melee cannot do that. 2. 3. This is probably where we'll go back to camping magic. Deadshot, we can hop that. Still not doing the most damage that I could, but I think that's part of the. I think part of that's just the kit. 20k arrow limit on quivers. The attacks with arrows now. I mean, yeah, limits are a little cringe. Yes, you just have to anticipate the hit. What is hitting me that hard? Ow.
I will put you in your place.
1, 2, 3. I missed that. Oh, still didn't have the correct prayer on. Whoops. Not really doing a lot of damage this time around. Okay, so you can eat food during channels. That's pretty tech.
All its power. The time threads have split. I'll tear right through you.
What do you mean I got hit by that? Fuck off. So used to praying necromancy. Thanks, Warcath. Two. 3. Oh, I should have actually snapshotted before that. That's fine.
Witness the raw.
I think I just need to Devo that. Endpoint there, just soak the damage. Yeah, the fact that you can eat during channels is actually disgusting. That's actually good knowledge to have.
If the needle won't heed my command, then I'll use a greater weapon, the Staff of Armadil.
Yeah, because you use rapid fire, and then you just eat during the rapid fire. Oh, that's so stupid, dude. I love that. I can just Devo that. I mean, that's a fucking clear. That's honestly super fucking stupid that that's how that works. I don't know if that's a bug or if that's just how that works. That's so dumb, dude. Yeah, so Carapac can be done. That's Carapac. Fucking. So that was what do you call it? That was dual wields. I want to see how this works. I want to see how. Give me these one arrows. That's what I was gonna do. That's the next thing I'm doing. Is I'm doing it with a bow now. Rocktail. Because this actually gives me a good way to compare and contrast the two. Because I mean, crossbows used to be meta. So we have that. We also have so it's Crystal Rain as well as Shadowfall off of that new bow, Gloomfire. Prayer pots. I got penance on. I'll be fine. I'm trying to figure out. I think you do open up with Death Swiftness. I think with Carapac specifically, you want to open up with that.
Always you. Why can't you just let it be, World Guardian? I'll tear right through you.
I mean, so that does a dot to him, so that's pretty cool.
I will put you in your place.
1, This is actually a safe spot. You could soul split. 3 snipe. Bro, I actually have adrenaline to do shit with, though. That's actually so cool. I mean, that's actually more damage, so I mean, I'll take that. I mean, I still didn't quite phase him, but I mean, that's just practice.
No, I control the threads of time. The time threads have split. I'll tear right through you.
Yeah, doing the double stims honestly clears up the bar. That clears up the bar a lot.
I will put you in your place.
Dead shot.
Witness the raw power.
It's like 3K off.
I can contain all its power. The time threads have split. I'll tear right through you.
Need to build. I mean, honestly, though, it's not... It feels more consistent is what it feels like, actually.
Put you in your place.
Ow. With range, you can actually just use this to dump your fucking ability on him.
Witness the raw power.
Yeah, I mean that's all positioning. That's all 100% something that I was not doing super well on. No amount of dashes. I mean that's also I don't really have any perks on or anything like that. I have Deadshot armor. Yeah, I do. It's that one.
If the needle won't heed
I have it.
then I'll use a greater weapon, the staff of armor.
It's towards the end with all the other ults. Wonderful. I've used it like 3 times this fight. What are you talking about? Oh my god, that was fucking funny. Oh my god. Fucking... I think range is in a good spot. I think range is in a really nutty spot. Fuck does SGB... What the fuck does Bo the Last Guardian do again? Oh god. Oh, dude. Rocktail, 1. SGB can go away. 5. No, ranged is in an interesting spot. I think ranged wins this beta. I mean, I could probably rework the bar a little bit more, but like, yeah. I mean, ranged wins. Yeah, Deadshot's really fucking good. Holy shit. And that's now I can apply book on that. So what does Bo do? I always forget what fucking Bo the Last Guardian does. Strike your target with an arrow of pure anima. Okay. Range damage reduces the number of stacks required to activate perfect equilibrium to 4. Revolution combat. Strike your target with an arrow of pure anima. So it's just a big fuck off hit then, right? How does Bo work? Bo's interesting. Attacks generate one perfect equilibrium stack. At 8, Launch an additional attack that deals... Oh, it's old FSOA, right? Because old FSOA used to do this, right? Deals 260 range damage. Damage from the attack trigger the effect. Okay. So... Bow the Last Guardian... Yeah, so it's the big fuck-off hit. I don't know. It and SGB do different things. I might honestly use SGB and work up to it, honestly. I might honestly... fucking KDA Ari. You count stacks and use attacks according to the stacks. I'll use SGB. SGB sounds way more brain dead until I get used to ranged again. Oh, I am curious about using this, though. You.
Why can't you just let it be, World Guardian?
1, 2, 3.
I'll tear right through you.
Did I Genesis shard it? No. I don't have anything Genesis sharded in live either, so I mean, I'm just looking at consistency. It's only like a 9% damage differential. 1, 2, 3. Holy fuck damage! Bow the Last Guardian, what do you mean? What?
Tide threads have split.
That was disgusting.
I'll tear right through you.
That was some big damage. Holy shit. Okay, I'm a believer in range now. Nemui's convinced me. Holy shit.
You will break beneath me.
Oh, the fact that I fucking sniped. Dude, I sniped that at just the right point. That was a little disgusting. I feel a little bad about that, Carapac.
The tide threads have split. I'll tear right through you.
Seven stacks.
You will break beneath me.
2, 3. I feel like they're gonna nerf some of this, right? Like, they surely have to.
If the needle won't heed my command, then I'll use a greater weapon, the staff.
And I can just devotion here. Literally could just camp this. Fucking Zammy bow for the 7k hit. Good god. And that was a speed run, bro. What do you mean? What the fuck? What do you mean that was a fucking speed run? Oh my good god. Fuck. Okay, that's disgusting. Not even using Stalker Ring 2, which would make your crits even more consistent. Yeah, I mean, honestly, though, like, so I think that's where we'll end the beta. I think that's where we'll end this. That gives me an opportunity to also to go ahead and upload this. That was fucking disgusting, bro. I'm gonna GE Warrior some shit today. Fucking hot damn, bro. Like, actually disgusting in terms of ranged. So, I guess I'll give my summary on this, right? So one, thank you, Jagex, for allowing players to have an opportunity to do the open beta. I think we need to I think we need to really, like, express that that's not how a lot of game studios do it. And the fact that they're willing to let players also give, like, is that actual RS guy, though? Like, actually, what a cool dude. It's probably not, but honestly, what a cool dude, if so. Honestly, I think this is good. I think this is how you build trust with a player base. This is how you build rapport. This is how you showcase that transparency that a lot of studios just aren't willing to do. I do think that there are some winners. I do think that there's some losers from the beta. I do have to also state that I do have my own biases in this, right? I think some of the magic nerfs I think are pretty bad. Ultimately, I think that range is very, very strong right now. I mean, we're using full 5-piece like Elite Dracolich, so I mean, rapid fire also generally it's like just the set function. That's its functions, right? I do think that allowing for a sandbox environment is very good, especially when we're testing so many just big changes like this. I think that this is good. I think that there's a lot of good to come from this. I think that, you know, we can get to a point where I think we can really get to a point where we can see a lot of the styles reach heights they haven't before. I mean, honestly, my first clears on Zuck were with range. So range is kind of in this weird microcosm for me, if that makes sense. Like range is in a very good spot. But it's really interesting to see where things are going, how they're going. I think it's interesting. Like, I want to express that I think that this is really good, and I hope Jagex does continue this. I think we're going to have a lot of criticisms. I think this is a good sandbox environment to get the feedback that they're wanting, and ultimately, my style overall could lose. My style could lose out, right? My chosen style of Magic could just absolutely just eat crap, right? Melee, they're doing their best. I see that they're making changes. Even with Melee so far, right? The fact that we have, like I was saying, like, hey, we have two combat styles. We have attack and strength both pulling into each other. And clearly, I think this reflects that because now our basic attack it does more melee damage than the others, right? We go to ranged. Your basic melee attack, your basic ranged attack is going to be, well, it's not the right one. 90 to 110%. I think these are live changes too. So clearly, they're listening to feedback, and that's more than a lot of games we can say, right? So I had a lot of fun with this. I'm going to go enjoy my weekend. I'm going to go enjoy getting my Elite Dracolich set together, because, God, that's going to be expensive. And I'm debating if I want to do SGB or if I want to do Bow of the Last Guardian, because, honestly, like, as long as shit doesn't deteriorate into dust, that's all I care about. That's where I start to get a little if that makes sense. But thank you, everyone, for watching. I really do appreciate it. Hopefully you had as much fun as I did. Hopefully it was really cool to kind of see some RuneScape if you hadn't, or if you are playing RuneScape. It was really cool to kind of spend some time doing the thing. I'm going to go hop back on live. I'm going to go GE Warrior some stuff. And kind of get ready to see what's coming next. Thank you, everyone, for watching, especially if you're on the gaming channel. And I'll see you in the next one.